Live from downtown Detroit. Local 4 News at 5 starts now.
We finished above average today, and with warmer air coming, temperatures only heading up as we head towards the end of the week.
All right, Ben, the hits keep coming at U of M. Another devastating blow for Michigan's football team following Saturday's loss at Iowa.
But first, a social worker and her supervisor now charged for what they didn't do. And prosecutors say that led to the death of a 3-year-old Detroit boy. Those 2 women are now charged with child abuse and involuntary manslaughter in the death of 3-year-old Aaron Miner.
It was in May. Miner's body was found decomposed inside this apartment in Detroit's Woodbridge neighborhood.
Prosecutors say those social workers failed to contact police after reporting the child was living in unsuitable conditions.
Let's bring in Priya Mann, who's with us now live. Very serious charges here, Priya.
And Devin, Kimberly, very rare to see Child Protective Service workers charged, but it's alleged that these CPS workers failed to do their job, that they were reckless and grossly negligent, and that contributed to the death of a young child.
She's dedicated her whole career, her whole adult career, to helping kids, to saving kids.
47-year-old Kelly Williams and 24-year-old Elena Brown stood side by side. A supervisor and social worker trusted to protect children, now charged with a child's murder.
We turned her in this morning. She was taken away in handcuffs. She didn't look like she was doing very well.
In May, police discovered the decomposing body of 3-year-old Aaron Miner at his mother's home. Prosecutors say a month earlier, CPS worker Brown made a visit to the home on Trumbull, but never followed up. It's alleged she lost contact with the family and that no one called police for a safety check.
Just because there's a tragedy and just because there's a death doesn't mean that somebody is criminally responsible.
Prosecutor Kim Worthy says Aaron Miner died because these social workers did not follow CPS policy. The child's mother, 28-year-old Deanna Miner, was evaluated by mental health officials. It's alleged Williams and Brown ignored concerns Miner was increasingly incapable of caring for the child. In a statement, the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services says employees are committed to protecting vulnerable children from abuse and neglect. They have difficult jobs and care about children. Employees are deeply saddened by any child death. It would be inappropriate to discuss specifics related to an ongoing court case.
My client has dedicated her entire career, her entire adult career, to helping kids. So the charges are particularly offensive.
And prosecutor Kim Worthy is responding in a statement. She says, "We charged this case after much thought and deliberation. We did not make this decision lightly. We must seek to hold these defendants responsible for their alleged inaction. The ultimate result in this case was the death of a child that never should have happened." Reporting live from Detroit, I'm Priya Mann, Local 4.
Well, Priya, what about the child's mother?
Well, she's going to have a competency hearing at the end of the month. She has also been charged with felony murder, child abuse, among other charges.
All right, Priya.
All right, some breaking news to tell you about right now out of Oakland County. The Supreme Court will decide to either accept or reject the recommendation from a panel that says Judge Lisa Gorsuch should be suspended without pay for 30 days. This comes after a misconduct hearing for her handling of a child custody case back in 2015 when she sent 3 children to Children's Village for not having lunch with their father.
And now to a disturbing story that is developing right now inside the Wayne County Sheriff's Department.
Prosecutors say a longtime deputy walked into the Dearborn Police Department and admitted carrying out the ugliest of crimes. Mara McDonald is live downtown. And Mara, what's this all about?
Kimberly, we are told that he walked into Dearborn PD, looked at the desk sergeant and said, "I have done something terrible to a child."
Your Honor, on November 1st of this year,
Deputy Thomas Peterson wasn't arraigned today, but the warrant for his arrest and the charges against him were signed by a judge downriver.
during the course of the investigation, CPS was notified.
The allegations are terrible. Deputy Peterson admitting he's been sexually molesting a young girl under the age of 13 for years.
The way she described it is weekly over a long period of time.
He walked into the Dearborn PD to turn himself in, but the case was then turned over to Brownstown for investigation because that's where the alleged abuse has been going on. Back here live, the Wayne County Sheriff's Department telling us they are aware of the situation, but once again, their agency is not investigating this. That is up to the Brownstown Township Police Department. Meanwhile, that deputy, we are told, is in a psychiatric hospital at this point. Once he is released, he will more than likely be arrested and end up here at the Frank Murphy Hall of Justice. We are live downtown tonight. I'm Mara McDonald, Local 4.
So very disturbing. All right, Mara, thank you. President Obama fielded questions at his first news conference since President-elect Donald Trump won the election.
The president says he is making sure he leaves office with America in good shape, and he assured those that weren't happy with the election's outcome that things will change over time.
Things change pretty rapidly, but they don't change inevitably. They change because you work for it. Nobody said democracy is supposed to be easy. It's hard. And in a big country like this, it probably should be hard.
Coming up at 5:30, we're going to dive into the choices President-elect Trump is making when it comes to filling his cabinet and administrative jobs.
About 4,000 jobs he's going to
quite a few to fill out, yes. Yeah. We have reached mid-November, and yet it's just really mild still. Amazing, isn't it?
No complaints, none at all. Let's get over to Ben now with more, Ben.
Yeah, guys, we're still holding on to the 50s as we approach sunset out there. 52 at Metro. We're above average today. Coolest number right now is at Port Huron, which is at 48. But these numbers are only going to get warmer, as we said at the top of the show, heading into the end of the week until we actually see some highs in the 60s. So we will have some high clouds out there tonight. Still have an opportunity to catch that super moon, even though it was technically at its fullest this morning. It'll still look pretty bright and beautiful tonight. 38 will be that overnight low tonight. We'll look at those warmer temperatures and see how warm things get heading into the weekend in just a few minutes.
All right, Ben, thank you. Brand new information right now on that massive water main break in Troy. We've learned the boil water advisory for some of the area has been lifted, but for others it could be days before a fix. Let's get to Rod Maloney live at Firefighters Park in Troy, where a water distribution center is set to open in just under an hour from now. Rod?
That's right, 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock, Kimberly, and take a look. It's an 18-wheeler loaded with thousands upon thousands of gallons of bottled water for North Troy residents who, if they don't have bottled water and need it, can come down, pick it up for free. And they've already started working on it. The trailer came in about an hour ago here. But there is good news on the horizon in this situation, and it looks like they might be able to wrap this thing up probably by tomorrow afternoon. There's a run on bottled water in Troy and Rochester Hills. Maureen Lucas lives in North Troy, and she and her cats woke up yesterday to a disappointing development.
It's like the water had been shut off and, it sputtered. So I got concerned about, we just had our kitchen done, and I thought, please don't let anything be wrong.
She checked her phone and discovered the Local 4 Facebook news alert, and while she boiled water for coffee, she decided she'd stock up on Fiji water as a cautionary step.
Well, I'm just not sure that's going to do enough. I know I'm a nurse. I worry. I worry on a normal, because of Flint and everything, I worry on a normal day what's in my water.
Water pressure returned overnight. In the meantime, across town in Susan Purcell's garage, there's a case of bottled water too. She decided she'd hit the gym and shower there because it was located outside the boiled water zone.
Frankly, it's probably okay to take a shower, but I was there, so I decided to
do it there.
Do it there.
A construction crew spent the day working on the 84-inch pipe that serviced the area that broke. They cleaned up the mess and the giant flood that it made, and they expect to have the full repair completed by sometime tomorrow. In the meantime, Susan says she'll be fine.
Yeah, and a few bottles of wine, so I'm in good shape.
Whatever it takes to get through a crisis like this. Now, Rochester Hills had a boiled water advisory out. They have removed it. They took it down this afternoon around 3 o'clock. So in Rochester Hills, everything's okay. And the reason for that is because their pressure did not go all the way down to zero. And so therefore there wasn't standing water in the pipes. They had it tested today. That test came back. Everything's okay. So in Rochester Hills, things are okay. But it looks like another day here in the city of Troy. Back to you.
Okay, so Rochester Hills is good, the city of Troy, but do we know when it might be over there? Are they thinking tomorrow they'll be okay?
Yeah, we're thinking tomorrow. Here is why, Kimberly. Here's the situation. In Troy, because the pressure went all the way down to zero, they have to test twice. according to MDEQ rules. And so they did a test, took the water yesterday, it came out clean today. They took a test again today. They have to get a clean bill of health tomorrow, and if in fact they do, then they'll take that boil water alert down probably between, say, 1 and 3 o'clock, if in fact they get that test back and everything is okay. But we'll have to see how that goes.
Yep, and we'll stay on top of it. Rod, we appreciate it.
Saturday's loss to Iowa was bad enough, and now we're getting news that is getting even worse. The centerpiece, you might say, of Michigan's offense, quarterback Wilton Speight, may be out for the season. Yeah. Ouch.
Yeah, Bernie joins us live right now, and this could be a huge blow to the team. What, we got two games left?
Indiana and
Ohio.
That team.
What is
team down there.
Ohio. I don't know.
Brady Hogan's phone.
Yes.
I'll say this: whenever you lose your starting quarterback, it's a whole different ball game happens. But you have to remember something. Jim Harbaugh is sort of the quarterback whisperer. So many feel that Michigan was going to be in those college football playoffs. Now comes word from MGO Blog that says Speight has a broken collarbone, is out for the rest of the season. We've got highlights. Here's Speight late in the fourth quarter. He'd been hit earlier in the quarter and got hit here. Down he goes. As you see, when he comes off, his left arm is a little bit useless there because the collarbone's broken. Jim Harbaugh wouldn't address the situation today with Wilton Speight.
Coach, anything on Wilton Speight?
I wouldn't know more. It's going to depend just how he feels.
Oh. Well, that's not exactly
not quite true.
Right, exactly. Because about an hour and a half later, MGO Blog came out with a report that he had a broken collarbone. John O'Korn is your starting quarterback this week for Indiana.
Who many thought it was going to be at the beginning of the year, back when we were. But the weird thing is even with that loss, everybody else lost, so you kind of kept you in play.
Saturday.
Yeah, it really was.
They win out. They're in great shape.
Still,
yeah, but now that you lose your quarterback, probably it's going to take a little bit of adjustment time.
Yep.
Okay. I wouldn't worry. I think Harbaugh is kind of a magician when it comes to quarterbacks.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right, back with more in a minute.
Okay.
New at 5.
60% of Detroiters live in a cash economy. They don't have a credit card, they don't have a checking account, but there's a new way to pay your taxes on your foreclosure payment plan that is quick, easy, and free.
All right, Guy, and some changes coming to Metro Airport. New here at 5. Why your next visit to the terminal will sound a whole lot different. Hi, Coco.
Neighbors on edge after a person was shot and killed in this home in Wayne.
I was stunned because this is such a quiet neighborhood.
I'll have the latest on Local 4.
Tonight and tomorrow. New at 6.
Jumped after parking in her own garage. A Dearborn woman takes us through the frightening moments that included a pistol whipping at the hands of one of the robbers.
Plus, a big new development in a very disturbing murder case involving a dismembered body found in Lapeer. At 6 o'clock, what this man is being charged with now. That's at 6.
A real mystery unfolding tonight after what happened inside this house in Wayne.
Yeah, homicide investigators spent hours trying to figure out what led to the death of a person. Let's bring in Coco McAboy. So far, police staying pretty quiet about it, though, Coco.
That's right, Devin and Kimberly. Police aren't saying much at this time. All we know is a person was shot and killed inside of this home. But police were out here for more than 10 hours investigating. They actually just cleared the scene about an hour ago, and that has neighbors like Kathy Esser on edge.
So it's hard just to see it. It really is sad.
Kathy Esser lives just a few doors down from where the homicide took place this morning in the 35,000 block of John R.
Police knocked on the door. I heard a knock at 7:20, and I said, "Who is it?" And I hear state police. So, of course, I'm a little stunned.
Police say they were called to the scene on a report that a person was shot, but when they arrived, they found a person dead inside the home.
I was stunned because this is such a quiet neighborhood.
Police searched a vehicle parked outside of the house and have been collecting evidence at the scene for hours. All very scary for neighbors who are left wondering what really happened and why.
Absolutely stunned that somebody was murdered, and it's so sad to find out that somebody died a couple doors from you.
Obviously a scary situation, and anyone with information is asked to call the Wayne Police Department. Reporting live this evening, I'm Coco McAboy, Local 4.
Well, I know police aren't obviously saying much. Are they telling us whether there are any suspects yet?
Right now, police are saying that there are no suspects right now, but at the same time, they're also saying that there's no threat to the public. So again, a lot of neighbors concerned, so we're expecting police to release more information soon.
Yeah. All right, Coco. Kim?
Detroit Metro Airport is getting ready for the holidays by making some changes to increase the holiday spirit. With Delta Airlines, the airport team developed a Motown soundtrack, which is playing now in the tunnel inside the McNamara terminal. The soundtrack features hits by The Temptations, The Supremes, Stevie Wonder, and other artists. It is also choreographed to a creative presentation and light sequence. I've often thought that that was a great idea. The first time I flew into Detroit Metro, I went through that tunnel, and I thought it'd be cool if they were playing Motown music in here.
Instead of the whale sounds and all of that was going on. I know, yes, because
So-
I mean, you can't hear Motown without having a pretty good day the rest of the day.
Exactly. So maybe they'll continue it like on past the holidays.
That'd be
too.
cool.
Those are whale sounds?
I don't. That was my guess
Oh,
as
okay. I was
have
going
gone.
to say Star Trek music, but
there you go.
Either one could possibly be correct. We've got 50s out there right now.
No, it's amazing.
And it is not going to be feeling like we're heading towards Thanksgiving here by the end of the week, that's for sure, as we're only going to see these numbers go up. Even though you see the numbers a little bit cooler out here to the northwest, Duluth's at 43, slightly cooler in the Twin Cities. Our flow is going to be coming in out of the southwest over the next couple days, and that will be ushering in even warmer numbers than what we picked up right now. And remember, average this time of year is right at 50 degrees for highs, so we're beating those odds, and we'll continue to do so. Clouds will be around. We'll see a lot of them move in towards tomorrow morning, but the region's dry. You've got to go out there into, well, west of the Dakotas to pick up some showers, and even those probably not going to get anywhere close to us. It looks like it's going to be the weekend before we see a chance of precipitation. So tonight, clouds will be increasing. They'll be high and thin, so you may be able to see some of the supermoon that's out there. Otherwise, by tomorrow, we'll call it partly cloudy going into the second half of the day. There will be a cold front come through midweek, but it's going to come through dry, and the numbers on the other side of that are only going to be warmer. As I said, that flow is going to be generally out of the southwest, so we'll continue watching those high temperatures move into the 60s as we head towards the end of the week. Tonight, though, chilly, 38 degrees. Winds are going to be on the light side. We'll see the high clouds starting to increase as we head towards daybreak tomorrow. Now, here's your 4-zone forecast. Usually we try to highlight all the differences across our 4 zones. This is going to be one of those days tomorrow where there's just not going to be a whole lot of difference. 57 is going to be the magic number in most locations across the area, and right here in the metro zone, that is true as well. South zone maybe slightly warmer by a degree or so out here in Lenawee County. Otherwise, very similar numbers in our west zone by tomorrow afternoon. 57 in Brighton, 56 in Milford and Clarkston. And north of M59, it will be the coolest area, but just barely. 54 in Sandusky will be probably our coolest mark by tomorrow afternoon, but everything gets warmer from there. 60s start to show up here on Thursday. Going into the weekend on Saturday, notice that we've got that forecast marked as rain on Saturday, and it will mostly be rain. If that moisture hangs around as those temperatures drop into the 30s going into Sunday morning, well, we are going to have to watch that very carefully as we head towards the end of the weekend, and it could be anything but rain.
There is a cool off headed there, of course, because the parade is
Well,
showing up
right
down the
on
road.
Saturday.
That's exactly right. Very good. Well, it turns out distracted driving can hurt you even if you don't get in a crash. Coming up in Good Health, the new side effect from multitasking behind the wheel.
But first, what was this guy thinking? How one picture could land him behind bars for years. That's next. Welcome back. If you are a convicted felon, there are a few things you probably should avoid, like maybe posting pictures of yourself with guns online. Michael Edwards, who you see here, is charged with being a felon in possession after this picture surfaced on social media. Edwards was previously convicted of multiple felonies. He's currently on probation for 3 counts of aggravated drug possession in Ohio. Not very smart.
No.
All right, police in East Point are looking for 2 women involved in an armed robbery last Thursday evening.
2 women, one in her 30s, the other in just her teens, walked through the Dollar General store on Gratiot north of 8 Mile. They left, but the older of the 2, according to police, then returned and picked up several items. As she headed out the door without paying, she brandished a gun and told the clerk, "Don't trip, this is for my daughter." The pair took off in a Kia Sedona minivan with its driver's side headlight out.
Gwen Ifill, the veteran journalist known for breaking racial and gender barriers, has died.
Died today in Washington, D.C., surrounded, we're told, by family and friends. She had been battling endometrial cancer while covering this year's presidential election. Ifill's career saw her co-hosting PBS NewsHour with Judy Woodruff, becoming the first woman to co-anchor a nightly news broadcast in the U.S. Ifill also moderated the Democratic presidential primary debate back in February and the vice presidential debates in 2004 and 2008. She really was a pioneer. She was 61 years old.
New at 5:30.
A 37-year-old mother dies inside the Macomb County Jail. Tonight, the defenders have exclusive video from inside the jail, including interviews with her cellmates, women who found her body and say she should have been rushed to the hospital.
From haircuts to free ties and donated business jackets, there's an event going on to help young minority men get employed.
America has an untapped pool of talent in these young men.
We'll tell you who's behind this initiative and if you could see it again next year.
The Wayne County Treasurer offers a new, faster, and free way to pay on your payment plan if you're in foreclosure. Their new kiosks will show you how they work and how much time you will save.
Next Wheel. Live from downtown Detroit. Local 4 News at 5:30 starts now.
Easing the pain. The Wayne County Treasurer rolls out a brand new tool designed to help people pay property taxes and stay in their homes. Up here first at 5:30, for people who don't have bank accounts or credit cards, cash, of course, is king. When it comes to paying your property taxes in Wayne County, that was difficult. It also cost a lot of money in extra fees, and that's money a lot of people don't have.
You're right, and that is all changing thanks to these brand new kiosks popping up across the city. And guess what? Using them to pay your property taxes won't cost you a penny extra. So let's get to Guy Gordon live. And Guy, this helps a lot of people.
It really does, Kimberly and Devin. We're talking about the 40% of people that can't pay online because they don't have internet access, or the 60% who are in a cash-only economy. No credit cards, no checking accounts. For them, this is huge because they don't have to pay those bill-paying services at the grocery store. They can come to one of these kiosks. Right now, the Treasurer's office is closed. This is open, and it's free. Kevin Hopkins is among those that once paid a bill pay service to make cash payments.
I pay my stuff in portions. So it's $3 to $5 every time I pay it. So I pay it 4 times a month. That's $20.
Now the 35,000 homeowners with foreclosure payment plans through Wayne County can pay anytime, day or night.
It saves them to drive downtown to pay taxes. And also saves them the parking fees that they would pay to come here. And it saves them a wait in line at the office, at the cashier's window. So it's really a real convenience.
Well, it's about as easy as a regular ATM machine. So.
You like it?
2 minutes. I love it.
The kiosks accommodate 3 languages. You punch in your parcel ID number or address, feed in the cash payment, and you get a certified receipt. There are kiosks in 24 locations, including 15 Rite Aid stores.
Why do I have to pay my bill? That's extra money. You know what I'm saying? That's stupid.
DivDat is a Ferndale-based company, and it's pioneered this bill-paying concept. It is adding Detroit Water Service to the system next month, hopes to add courts and municipalities into the system.
And then we want to go nationally to the areas where folks could most benefit from this product. Well, my goal is certainly to become a Fortune 1000 company, and I think we could do something like that, impacting the businesses and consumers the way we are.
So a Detroit idea that could be huge. Right now, it's DTE, Wayne County, and eventually the Detroit Water System that's going to be paying for these services. Why? Because it brings down delinquency. That saves the money. Also, if you don't have to have a clerk at a window taking care of a long line of people, they can be doing other things. The service pays for itself. We're live from the International Marketplace, just below the Wayne County Treasurer's office. I'm Guy Gordon, Local 4. Devin and Kimberly, back to you.
So, Guy, would you say that people are a little reluctant to feed cash into the machines? Maybe there's a little bit of a trust issue there?
You know, that's interesting you mentioned that because they do have navigators to help you with the system to make it a little bit less intimidating. And when they get used to the idea of its convenience, that they don't have to come downtown to pay their taxes, they could pay at the neighborhood Rite Aid store, they love it. And there's also something else. A machine isn't going to judge you if you're delinquent on your taxes. You don't have to face another human.
That's a good way to look at it. It sounds like it's going to help a lot of folks. So, Guy, we appreciate it.
Decision 2016. Filling the top slots in the Donald Trump administration was job one today for the president-elect, but there's widespread criticism of his choice of a hard-right ideologue as a senior advisor. Let's bring in Steve Handelsman. He's got the latest on the Trump staff search. Steve.
Devin, the news that Steve Bannon will play a major role here at the White House next year has critics taking a much tougher look today at the Trump transition in New York. Eric Trump came to Trump Tower. Ivanka Trump and her husband Jared Kushner, key players in the effort to fill top jobs in the Trump administration. A possible pick for Treasury Secretary is Steven Mnuchin.
A lot to do, a lot of work. Thank you very much.
He was Trump's campaign finance chair.
Reince, come up here. Where is Reince?
There's praise for Trump picking party chair Reince Priebus as White House chief of staff. But horror from some at Steve Bannon named a top advisor.
He's much more concerned about reasserting the power of white people in the United States.
Bannon ran Breitbart News, read by the hard right, some of them extremist and racist. Trump advisor Kellyanne Conway defended Bannon.
He's got a Harvard business degree, he's a naval officer, he has success in entertainment.
On 60 Minutes, Trump demanded his most extreme backers quit harassing minorities.
And I'll say it right to the camera, stop it.
Trump hedged on major promises. His wall will have some fencing. He'll deport immigrants who commit crimes and keep part of Obamacare, coverage of people with preconditions.
Yes, because it happens to be one of the strongest assets.
Reaction today from President Obama.
Gestures matter, and how he reaches out to groups that may not have supported him, how he signals his interest in their issues or concerns. I think those are the kinds of things that can set a tone.
There were more protests today as Trump and his team moved to take the reins of power. It's a tough balance, picking people who can run the U.S. government and Donald Trump at the same time keeping his promise to change government. At the White House, Steve Handelsman, Local 4.
All right, Steve. Ben is back now with a wildfire update, and this is one that has nothing to do with California.
You're right. It's the southern U.S., the southeastern U.S. that's under the gun this time. Typically, you don't hear that area talking about wildfires.
No, you don't. And, you know, we talked a bit about this last week, but things are not getting any better down there. These wildfires have already destroyed tens of thousands of acres with over 5,000 firefighters in Georgia, Alabama, Kentucky, Tennessee, and North Carolina battling those blazes. Now, persistent drought has only made things worse, and an increasing number of communities are now threatened.
We've got California wildfires in North Carolina, and from all indications, this is one of the worst conditions for wildfires North Carolina has ever seen.
Some of those wildfire areas could go rain-free all the way through Thanksgiving. We've got a cold front that could kick up the wind, so it does not look good from Mother Nature's standpoint in the next several days.
Sure doesn't. All right, Ben.
Thanks, Ben. All right, it's a defender's investigation that lasted for months.
Yeah, a young mother sent to jail for 30 days, but it ends up costing her life. Defender Kevin Dietz live tonight with what he's uncovered. Kevin.
Jennifer Myers did not commit a violent crime. She was behind on child support and sent to jail. 12 days later, she died behind bars. The defenders have obtained this exclusive video from inside the jail, and it includes interviews with those who were with Jennifer on her final days and found her body. Jenny Myers gets out of a police car in handcuffs and is escorted into the Macomb County Jail. A judge saying, pay $500 or spend 30 days in jail. This was the scene 12 days later, just after cellmates found the young mother dead in her cell.
We got to check her pulse. She went like this. She's like, she's ice cold.
Local 4 medical expert Dr. Frank McGeorge is an expert in in-depth custody cases. McGeorge says the signs of illness and foul smell should have warranted an in-depth exam by jail medical staff and a trip to the hospital.
To leave them in jail with an infection that ultimately leads to their death is just about the same as putting them to death.
She died from a virus slowly moving through her body. Neither the sheriff's department guards nor the privately contracted medical staff took her to a hospital.
The nurses aren't doing crap about it. The officers, don't give her time of day.
Jenny Myers went to jail because she was behind on her child support payments and could not come up with $500 cash. It turned out to be a death sentence.
And obviously when somebody comes into the jail, the punishment is being there. The punishment isn't to die.
Unfortunately, people sometimes do die in jail. What is so unusual about this case is that Jennifer Myers was getting sicker and sicker each of the 12 days she was there. Coming up tonight at 11, you're going to hear much more from witnesses who were with her in the final days and her parents who want to know, why wasn't she taken to the hospital? Kevin Dietz, Defenders.
In fact, Kevin, what's the, I know you had a chance to talk with the family. What are they saying about the videos?
Yeah, they are really upset about these videos because when they first talked to Macomb County, they were told that their daughter sort of just dropped dead suddenly. Then these videos come out and they hear from witnesses that she was getting sicker and sicker over these 12 days. You're going to hear a lot more from her parents as our investigation continues.
All right, Kevin. Kim.
A special event today at Cobo is aiming to make a real difference in the lives of young men of color here in Metro Detroit. It's all through a program called My Brother's Keeper, and as Priya Mann shows us, it's helping get these kids on a path to success.
The first step to getting a job is looking the part. These jackets were donated by Macy's so young men can look like they're ready to get a job, and then here is where the magic happens. In one corner, young men were getting haircuts. In the other, they were learning how to tie a tie.
I feel good because I did it on my own, so it kind of builds up my self-esteem. So I do feel better about that because at first I didn't really know how to tie a knot.
29-year-old Derek Duggar just graduated from Wayne County Community College. Armed with an associate's degree and a new tie, Duggar wants a job.
I'm getting good positive feedback, so my hopes are really up.
This career expo at Cobo Center was organized by My Brother's Keeper Alliance, an independent nonprofit group. The goal is connecting ambitious young men of color with job opportunities, from interviews with prospective employers to learning how to write a resume.
America has an untapped pool of talent in these young men, and that untapped pool of talent is the future of our country. And frankly, I think companies are awakening to that fact.
More than 40 companies and 20 nonprofit groups were hiring today. 17-year-old Kashawn King got his first job at Walgreens, and the high school senior has some tips for those applying.
Tell them about yourself when they ask, like, why would you want to work for me? Say, I'm a positive worker, hard worker, honesty. Tell them everything about yourself. Don't be nervous, because it's an opportunity if you get that job.
More than 1,400 young men registered for this event for 300 full-time jobs and 100 seasonal jobs. And My Brother's Keeper says they will keep working with the city to continue recruitment efforts like this. Reporting from Cobo Center, I'm Priya Mann, Local 4.
And a lot of seasonal jobs right now, too.
You're
a lot of things out there to do for a little while, and then that can maybe hopefully turn into something else.
Great program. She
holds one of the highest titles in America. Maybe she's got a new career on the horizon. This was pretty cool.
New tonight, who made a surprise splash on stage at the Washington, D.C. Opera that left crowds stunned.
Also distracted driving. It is not just extremely dangerous. Ahead at 5:30, the one thing multitasking behind the wheel does that can have a lasting effect on your health.
But first, violence in Mexico hits an unprecedented level. The new people criminals are kidnapping for speaking out that has people of faith outraged.
This week on New at 6.
Several dozen civil rights and faith-based groups coming together in defense of immigrant families who they believe are in danger of mass deportation with the new administration.
Plus, on the eve of firearm deer hunting season in Michigan, we take a look at the high-tech lengths hunters are going to become more like their prey.
A priest abducted in Mexico has been found alive, but with, as it's described, notable signs of torture. The Roman Catholic Church confirming the news Sunday. Reverend Jose Luis Sanchez had been missing for 3 days. He's the third priest to be kidnapped in Veracruz, Mexico since September. Now, sadly, the other two had been found shot to death days after their kidnappings, so the worst was feared here. Sanchez's abduction sparked protests in the town of Catemaco, where he was known to protest the high electricity bills for the citizenry.
In good health, distracted driving is dangerous because it increases the risk of having an accident. But researchers say multitasking behind the wheel could be hazardous to your health, even if you think you're doing it well. Distracted driving puts motorists, cyclists, and pedestrians in danger every day.
We've got the infrared image here.
But a new study being conducted at Texas A&M finds it can also be bad for your body.
We found that people do get stressed out when they're trying to do two things at once.
Researchers created a driving simulator to see what really happens to drivers when they're not paying attention to the road.
Just as you would monitor the engine temperature and your oil pressure, can we measure literally the pressure that's on the driver and see whether or not they're under a lot of stress and whether or not it's affecting their performance?
Within moments of texting and driving, the body shows signs of stress.
When people are have more than one task to do and they're texting and driving, that they start getting stressed out, and we can tell that by the amount of perspiration.
During the simulations, researchers notice drivers are often so distracted they mismanage their speed, ignore speed limit signs, and even cross the white line.
It's just a lot of stuff going on.
The goal of the study is to help us all drive better.
We think that there might be a way to use technology, the same kind of brain power and smarts that are in electronic devices, to actually tell you that this is too much.
Well, researchers at the University of Michigan are also working on the study. The next leg of the research will track drivers in real-life situations to see how their bodies respond to driving in traffic.
There's a lot going on.
Pretty fancy.
More than just what we think.
Yep.